And joining me for our look in the papers this morning is Nicholas Rushworth. Hi there, Nick. You've got a look through this morning's French newspapers. What are they talking about today?
Hi to you, Catherine, and hi to everybody. The French press are dominated by la rentrée politique.
So yes, everyone's coming back off their holidays, getting back to work.
That's right. It's not back to school, but it's back to political life. And la rentrée for the French as a whole will be in early September, won't it?
Yes, because August is holiday month.
Absolutely. They're
not for
they're
us,
at the beach.
For many people.
But meanwhile, for the politicians themselves, they're dominating the French press. We can go to Les Echos, which is the business paper, and it's headlining Rentrée à haut risque pour le gouvernement. So that's a high-risk rentrée, a high-risk back to politics for the government. What's this about? It's about several dossiers, as Stephen was mentioning, the pension reform, the issue on jobs, all kinds of things, social security.
Now,
it's saying that in its editorial, Les Echos, it's saying that the time now is for Hollande to act. He can no longer make the excuse, he and his ministers can no longer make the excuse that, well, it was all Nicolas Sarkozy's fault. We've always had just to deal with the problems from the previous administration. The time now is really the French will be looking for Hollande to prove his mettle, and it says it's now not the time for immobilisme, for standing still and doing nothing, scared to death almost, but actually to show the French that they can knuckle down to reversing that mounting line of unemployment figures going up and getting the pension issue sorted out with the unions.
Yeah, there's really some quite big economic challenges there. This is also this subject making the front page of Le Parisien, aujourd'hui en France.
I can go straight to that. There you can see the front page of Le Parisien, aujourd'hui en France. Cette fois, Hollande va devoir trancher. This time he's got to make his mind up. He's got to decide. Now that's, for example, all kinds of things about the amount of tax increases that will be in the pipeline. For example, a 2.5 billion euros on the social security system cash that he needs to put in this fall. So also keeping his promise for jobs for young people, that was a key mandate for him when he made his campaign. He had 60 mandates, 60 pledges, and he still has to go through with that. Now, the editorial in Le Parisien, it's important to note that this paper does not often have editorials, but it does have one this Monday. And there you can see the headline, Corde raide, tightrope. And it says that Hollande now, yes, he's got to show his mettle, but also he's really in a difficult situation, as always, with walking a tightrope between the pressures he faces, obviously, from the right, the opposition, but also within the left. So the Front de Gauche, they're saying overtly that they will support the unions in conflicts with the government. And then also the allies that are in government with the socialists, the Greens, they're doing some rattling about their intents as well. So he's saying, the paper there saying, yes, hardcore politics is on the way, especially with the municipal elections coming up in next March.
Yeah, so Hollande and the government under a great deal of pressure there coming back from holiday. So I hope they've had a nice, relaxing time. The other top story for this Monday, of course, are the events in Egypt.
Well, that's grabbing headline news and the front pages as well. I can show you 3 front pages in one. There you can see La Croix there saying the rejection of the Muslim Brotherhood in its headline. We've got the communist paper, L'Humidité, leading martial law against the Muslim Brotherhood. And we've got Libération saying Egypt au garde à vue, Egypt on guard. So that's a flavour of the press this Monday, Catherine.
And you got one article you looked at in Libération that stood out for you, didn't you, I believe?
Well, this is a headline that says the West has been short-circuited by Middle Eastern powers over Egypt. The argument is that Saudi Arabia, the UAE and Israel have more influence than Washington and Brussels. It says the EU, for example, as it meets this week to discuss Egypt, could stop 5 billion euros in aid to the country entirely. That aid is already on hold. But that is nothing compared to the promise of 9 billion euros made by Saudi Arabia, UAE and Kuwait to Egypt's generals. And just to finish, L'Humanité, the communist paper, it has a headline there. You can see the EU in search of a common position. So, of course, lots of the big powers, Washington and Brussels, flailing over Egypt massively. And that piece there basically saying, conveying the despair we've seen so much in the papers. But the quote that stood out for me was that Angela Merkel and François Hollande have been on the phone saying that they have agreed that there should be a total review of relations with Egypt.
OK, we'll have to wait and see what comes out of those talks. For now, though, thanks very much indeed, Nicholas Rushworth, there with our press review. Well, do stay tuned to Live from Paris, the latest international news coming up for you very, very soon.
Liberia, 15 years of civil war, 250,000 dead, 1 million displaced. The capital, Monrovia, is overpopulated, its infrastructure grossly inadequate. Despite rampant poverty, shortages of water and electricity, people still believe in the future. With the election of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first female president, investors have begun to return, the capital slowly coming back to life. Monrovia Revisited, an exclusive report only on France 24.